Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Edenwood #1. This is a new book from Image Comics. Let's take a look at the creative team before we get into this book. This book is written and art by Tony S. Daniel, colors by J. David Ramos, letters by Nathan Kempf. Um, so I have been hearing a lot of really cool things about this book, which is one of the reasons I picked it up. Also, Tony Daniels, such a prolific comic book creator. I like that he's branching out, doing stuff on his own. I like that, as much as I enjoy him doing superhero stuff, I think it's been really cool to see him either work with other creators on creator own stuff, or just branch out on his own. Like he's a very talented writer, very talented artist. So I think this book had a lot of hype going into it. So in this series premiere, an eons long series of multiverse wars between demons and witches has found Earth at its latest in the final battleground. The battle pits Necronoma, the ever expanding demonic land that supplanted the Midwest 20 years ago, against Edenwood, the witchcraft controlled land that acts as a barrier against the war zone and the rest of the US. Ryan, a young demon hunter, is thrust into the role of a hero and a leader after defeating a magical demon called Gather, a transient demon with the power to cross any barrier or dimension. Summoned by the Witch War Council, Ryan must assemble an elite team of demon hunters tasked with annihilating a list of targets within the demon controlled land. The men and women he selects happen to be the most famous and revered demon hunters of all time, dating back to the 1700s. Um, so I will say, and I'll start with this. There's definitely a lot happening in this book. It like this whole thing. I just read the synopsis. It took me a couple of times and a little bit of like just making sure to go back to make sure that I understood all that it was clear just from the dialogue of all these characters, because there's a lot of characters that are having these conversations that are trying to exposit some of this stuff and trying to build out this world. In the meanwhile, we're also trying to figure out their interpersonal relationships. So that took me a second to try to kind of get my bearings on all this. But the concept is super solid. I really like this whole multiversal war, demons, witches, like a war. Like there's a lot of fun stuff there, right? And of course, gathering a team of demon hunters all throughout while doing all this, I think it's really fun. So let's take a look at some of the preview art here. As you can see, we have a multitude of characters, but as I mentioned, there's a lot of dialogue going on, which it slowed down the pace of me reading this book for a second. I feel like if this had gone a little bit smoother and faster, I probably would have gone into this. We also have a lot of notes, and especially for a book that we are just getting into, like having notes about these little things that we don't really know about. It feels to me like, I don't know. I don't like reading editor's notes while I'm reading comics. So specific, especially a book that I'm just getting into, like I feel like it shouldn't be necessary. But like I said, the concept is super solid. The art is fantastic. I really love the designs of the characters, the action, especially when you get to see some of the demons. I think that's where the book truly shines. So I'm definitely in for this ride in the future, and I do want to see what happens next. I feel like this is something that I might trade weight because retaining all this knowledge month over month may be something that it just feels like a bit of a task for me. But overall, I think this is a well put book together. Like I really enjoyed the concept of it. I really enjoyed once we got past of all the world building and we got into the actual set of events that are taken up in the present or in I guess in this case in the future for these characters. That's when I had a really good time. Like that's when the book clicked for me, and I really feel like I need to push this out there and recommend it to people. Um, because it feels like something that could be very epic. And I think this issue #1 does a good job at overall explaining that and just kind of trying to hook the reader into that. So yeah, although not a perfect beginning, I think there's enough here that I'm very interested in seeing what else happens in this world and what else happens in this war, in this concept. So if you have read this book, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.